This is 17 News with continuing coronavirus coverage.
I'm Nicole Gitsky. We begin with breaking news. 17 News has learned several people from Kingston Healthcare Facility have died from coronavirus. Now, this comes as more people inside that facility test positive. 17's Alex Fisher joins us now with more. Alex?
Hi, Nicole. Yeah, we've just learned 7 people from the Kingston Healthcare Facility have died from coronavirus. 5 more are in the hospital. You may remember last Friday, we were the first to tell you about 41 people testing positive inside the facility. That number has now more than doubled. County Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop says 86 people have tested positive at the facility. State officials say at least 40 residents have tested positive. 7 have died. That is nearly half of our county's death toll. The facility is regulated by the state and not Kern County. The California Department of Public Health has sent more people to make sure that the staffing shortage has been filled at Kingston. 7 healthcare workers arrived just a couple days ago. That's on top of the 28 professionals who arrived on Saturday. You can find our full coverage on the Kingston outbreak on our website, KGET.com, and we'll have more tonight coming up on 17 News at 5. Alex Fisher, 17 News.
Thanks for that, Alex. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom is streaming live every day at noon to provide an update on the coronavirus crisis here in our state. Now, today he's going to be visiting with a small business as the state moves into phase 2. We will bring him to you as soon as he becomes available. In the meantime, now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. 33 new cases and 2 deaths were reported today. Public Health also confirms 1 employee tested positive for the virus. Now, that brings our total to more than 1,100 people infected. 15 people have died. 705 people, about 60%, have recovered from the virus. More than 8,800 tests have come back negative, and more than 3,700 tests are pending. Now, keep in mind, public health officials say it takes longer to confirm a negative test than a positive one. Matt Constantine, the director of our local public health department, says there is not a backlog of tests in Kern. The public health has also released cases broken down by zip code. Cases also, the areas primarily affected by the spread, including Lamont, Arvin, and Bakersfield, with the zip codes 93313 and 93307. Well, today's the day we'll start to see many select businesses across California reopen their doors, and Governor Gavin Newsom rolled out new guidelines for those businesses. Now, the outline says retailers like clothing, toys, flowers, and sporting goods shops can open today only if they offer curbside pickup, while shopping in stores will come later. And while Governor Newsom's administration acknowledged some counties and cities want to reopen at a faster pace than the state, health officials laid out what needs from those areas before doing so. The requirements include no COVID-19 related deaths and no more than 1 case per 10,000 people in the last 2 weeks, and other contract tracing and testing mandates. The governor said people may be able to dine in at restaurants if those businesses abide by new guidelines.
This emergency has not passed us by, and we need to maintain our vigilance, maintain our distance physically from one another, and continue to do our best to meet the spirit of these guidelines and not get ahead of ourselves at peril that we see this disease come back in fury and a second wave that makes the first wave pale in comparison.
The governor says the next specific set of guidelines for counties to move into stage 2 will be released on Tuesday. And Kern Public Health wants to make the consequences very clear for businesses that open too soon. Last Saturday, Kern Public Health rescinded its local order, which would have issued citations and fines for businesses that are open illegally. Since then, we've seen some local restaurants open dine-in services, but Public Health says that is not allowed, and Kern County is following the governor's lead.
Governor Gavin Newsom is calling the shots. We don't have to like it. We can protest it. We can advocate for greater flexibility and latitude in how we make decisions locally, which we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's the state.
So what are the consequences if a non-essential business does open? The county says local law enforcement can be used, but they would prefer not to. Instead, Public Health says it will call the business and remind them to follow the law.
We're not slapping wrists. Our public health officials will call and reinforce and communicate to them it is not time for them to be opening. If we have to do it 10 times, we will do it 10 times.
The county warns if you disobey the orders, your state-issued license could be at stake. Non-compliant businesses could also ruin Kern County's shot at reopening a little earlier than the rest of the state. The Board of Supervisors has already asked the governor for more flexibility locally. Well, the unemployment rate has jumped to 14.7%. That's down from the 16% that was projected by economists, but it's still the highest since the Great Depression. The Labor Department reports at least 20 million people filed for unemployment in the month of April. Unemployment figures show people who are actively looking for work and does not count people who are temporarily furloughed. Well, right now, crews are clearing up after a brush fire swept through a grassy lot in southeast Bakersfield. That fire broke out this morning near the corner of Daniels Lane and South Union Avenue. Firefighters were able to put it out. Now, it is unclear what started that fire. Well, Bakersfield police are investigating a shooting that killed a man in East Bakersfield. It happened just before 8:30 last night. Officers were called to a report of a person down on Whitlock Street near East 3rd. When they arrived, they found a man believed to be in his 20s with a gunshot wound. He died a short time later. Now, no word on any arrests or suspects at this time. And by our count, there have now been 5 deadly shootings involving law enforcement in Kern County. Broken down, 2 have been in Bakersfield, another 2 in Mojave, and yesterday morning shooting in Wasco. And all these cases, the sheriff's office say deputies were facing armed suspects. At least 4 of those suspects are accused of attacking the deputies. And just to compare where we're at right now compared to a year ago, by May 8th in 2019, we had 29 homicides. As of this afternoon, we have already seen at least 41 homicides. Both counts include officer-involved shootings. That's 12 more homicides than we had at the same time last year. And we're also following the aftermath of a gas leak in northwest Bakersfield. This happened near the corner of Brimhall Road and Callaway Drive yesterday afternoon. Now, at last check, that intersection was still closed as crews work in the area. There are detours in place. No word yet, though, on when it will reopen.
Welcome back on this finally Friday. It is a beautiful sight outside with lots of sunshine. The negative side of all this, it's going to be a little hot today if you are going to be out and about in it. We're already in the 80s. Take you out near Wasco right now. 89 degrees on the temperature. A calm wind out that way. Arvin also in the upper 80s. Now as we take a look at Bakersfield, 88 degrees. A west wind at 7 miles per hour. It's nice to see that light breeze. Overnight we're at 63, above our normal of 56. Normal high today, 82. And the record of 100 set back in 1987. Here's a look at other temperatures right now, and 80s all around the valley, 70s and 80s into the mountains. Fraser Park at 78, 82 in Tehachapi, and already 93 out in Ridgecrest. Skies remain clear, no changes on that front, even around the state. You can see we've got clear skies all around. A few high clouds along the coastal areas, but that'll be about it. Temperatures today, 87 in Sacramento, 98 in Fresno, and 70s and 80s south. A warm day out of Phoenix at 102. High pressure anchored over us for now through tomorrow, and then by Sunday starts to weaken as we start to see the influence of that trough developing out of the Gulf of Alaska. That is going to bring some rain north and maybe some clouds our way, but no rain and cooler weather. That's really the key here, is as this system pushes on through next week, we will see a pretty good cool down. You're going to see that on the extended forecast. Today, 98 in Bakersfield, 99 in Delano, 97 in Buttonwillow Taft, at 95 for the mountains in the Kern River Valley, 84 in Fraser Park, 86 in Tehachapi, 90s for the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabella today, 93 along with Kernville, 91 in Wofford Heights. And then for the desert, we're looking sunny and hot. A south wind 10 to 20, 92 in Mojave. Ridgecrest at 98, possibly hitting 100 degrees by later on this afternoon. Your extended forecast. Tomorrow, 98. Mother's Day, 92. 85 on Monday. And then we're in the 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday under partly cloudy skies. And then for the mountains, sunny skies over the weekend. 83 tomorrow. 79 for Mother's Day. And then a big cool down by next Tuesday, Wednesday, when you're back into the lower 60s. nice. And then for the Kern River Valley, we're also looking at a cool down by next week, but in the short term, lower 90s for tomorrow, 86 on Sunday, and then upper 60s Tuesday and Wednesday. I expect some clouds to push on in as well. So overall, a hot today and tomorrow, and I can't remind you enough that if the kids are going to be out in the backyard by the pool with these hot temperatures, please make sure you have a keen eye on them. We'll have more news coming up right after the break.
You may have to spend this Mother's Day away from your mother. Well, Colleen Bauer, the CEO, founder, and lead planner of Fairy Godmother Corporation, explains the top 10 virtual Mother's Day celebrations and gift ideas for you on how to celebrate your mom.
So obviously, one of the things that we had mentioned is that, don't give her a mask, a creative, cute little mask. One of the ideas we had, which we thought would be really fun, would be to take her on a virtual vacation. So maybe there's a place you really wanted to visit, New Orleans, put together, or Paris or Italy. And if it's Italy, have some Italian music, have some Italian food delivered, have slides, and take her through as if she was actually in Italy. We also would love for you, obviously, to shop local, and things like the flower stores are still available. I've got flowers behind me from House of Flowers. They're just gorgeous. And as well as the bakeries, we have Courtney from Gola Dolce Bakery did this beautiful little cupcake. And then these adorable little cookies that are actually have real edible flower petals in them. And then this is really cute. This is a little facial in a box from the Skin Muse. So those are just some ideas that you can shop local. Some of the other ideas are take time to write your mom a letter. That's something that we just don't take time to do anymore, Maddie. And I feel like that is, worth your weight in gold, the fact that you took the time to do that. Plants are nice. Plants are something that lasts forever. And there's some beautiful plants at, White Oaks, Uniquely Chic, House of Flowers are all open for Mother's Day and are available, have plants available to purchase. Number 6, serve breakfast in bed. And if you can't be there, have her favorite breakfast delivered as well as her favorite coffee. And then an idea I thought was really cute would be to surprise her and have a wreath made from her door. The dollar store is actually open right now. You can make a beautiful wreath and have it on her front door. And so when she opens the door as a surprise for her breakfast, she has her coffee there, her breakfast there, and a cute little wreath on her door. Top idea number 8 is take an online course together in cooking. So you can have deliver, like for example, farm to people is a cooking box order that you can place, and your mom and you can virtually learn to cook together, which I thought was really fun. Number 9. Take video and have all of your family take video and put it together as a greeting from everybody and present that to her. I think that's super thoughtful. And 10 is put together a little spa kit for her. So she, you can't be there to actually do her pedicure or manicure. Put together a little spa kit of ideas for her fingernails and, polish and things like that, which I think are really fun. And last but not least, I really fully believe that Mother's Day is really not about the money or the gifts, Maddie. It's more about the gesture and the thoughtfulness and the time that you took, to put something creative together for her. So those are some ideas.
It's Friday, and we want to wish you an early happy Mother's Day. Now, we want to see your photos of your mom. You can upload them to the gallery on our website, kget.com. Now, we do have Governor Gavin Newsom ready to speak. Let's send it over to him and hear what he has to say today.
All across the state of California, almost 24 that have reached out directly to us just in the last 24 hours since yesterday's announcements to begin the process of engaging and dialoguing about regional variants that allow people to move even more quickly into the latter phases of this new order. And that includes in dining establishments, or rather dine-in establishment. It includes a myriad of other functions, offices, and the like. I think it's important for people to know the whole idea is that we will move through phase 2 together as a state. And while we want to see local variation and we want to see counties work with us to move a little bit quicker, we hope to be making announcements on a consistent basis over the next few weeks, moving everybody into this next phase. I know there's deep anxiety people are feeling and desire to reopen, but again, all of this is based on those 6 indicators and our ability to test, to do appropriate tracing, to train a workforce of tracers, to make sure testing is available, not just total numbers in the aggregate, but available in your community on demand, and make sure that the results of those tests come back in real time. We want to be able to protect the most vulnerable Californians all across this state, our seniors, particularly in congregate facilities, homeless that are vulnerable to the spread of this disease, and to make sure that we have hospital capacity, hospital surge, and the ability in real time to do the kind of community surveillance that will allow us to know where the spread is occurring and how we can mitigate that spread and potentially toggle back and potentially strengthen some of these restrictions if indeed we start to see a transmission of this disease beyond our expectations. So all of this in real time. Lots of moving parts, but the good news is we are starting to move. I mentioned this yesterday, roughly 70% of the economy in the state of California can open with modifications into this next phase. I know 70% is not 100%, and I deeply recognize with modifications means with restrictions, and with those restrictions means the struggle for businesses to get back to where they were pre-pandemic. And that's why I want us to be sober about this reality. Just because you announced that we have a variation on an opening and people can do curbside pickup and there's a sense that things are moving again, doesn't mean that customers are confident and comfortable yet. Doesn't mean that we are operating with the total number of employees we once were, or the kind of revenue and receipts that businesses were used to. Quite the contrary. And so that is a reality that we all have to work through, and that's why it's so important that we provide supports and we do everything we can to help these businesses get through this moment, not to thrive yet, but to survive and get back on their feet so we get out the other side where they're stronger, more resilient, and more vibrant than ever. So yesterday was a significant day in terms of putting out guidelines. Those guidelines are now being put in effect at Twigs. I saw it firsthand in the back with employees with face masks on, gloves in some respects, making sure that their delivery, their sanitation is up to par. It's a perfect example of what we hope to be seeing more of all across the state of California. Those variations, as I said, as it relates to counties that want to move a little bit sooner, as I said, we've over 20 plus conversations with those counties, and we'll be putting out subsequent guidelines by sector, by industry next Tuesday, which will allow some more clarification, including checklists. We have a new checklist that goes through issues around hand washing, sanitation, how to address the needs of customers through pickups, and how we can make the pickup and drop-off process for deliveries, as well as pickups for customers, easier and safer, how we can practice social distancing, physical distancing in environments that may be smaller like this, or even larger, some of these manufacturing warehouse spaces. So we try to tailor these guidelines as prescriptive as we can, with a frame of flexibility always, recognizing that the entrepreneurial spirit that built this business from a dream to an idea, pen to paper, that entrepreneurial spirit we also want to see advanced as we work through this next phase. And so we want to provide the kind of flexibility that we recognize is important, because no two flower shops are the same, let alone two sectors of the industry. And so each requires, I think, a kind of specific frame and specific specific guidance that can be afforded at the local level. And so that's a big part of, again, our advancement and thrust as well. So just wanted to sort of kick this off, this momentous day in terms of a meaningful modification of the stay-at-home order, update you on that progress, and wish all of our mothers a happy Mother's Day. I also want to update you on a few other key developments that have occurred in the last 24 hours since we last met yesterday. Because of the number of masks that we're getting in, and this is foundational in terms of moving into the second phase, the ability to provide the face coverings, to provide the personal protective gear for businesses large and small. Today we're distributing some 2 million masks to farm workers. Today we're distributing over 500,000 masks to small grocers all across the state of California. Hundreds of thousands of masks in other sectors of our economy are being distributed. We'll be making announcements on a consistent basis of subsequent distribution of PPE outside of just the healthcare system. And yes, we are sending out millions and millions of other masks into the healthcare sector, to our skilled nursing.
You just heard the latest from Governor Gavin Newsom. So yesterday they put out those guidelines for moving into phase 2. Now today he's just providing an update on that and what we can continue to see. The most important thing to remember, though, is this is moving slowly, but they want to make sure that they have everything in place in case there was a spike in cases. We can toggle back. It's just like a dimmer switch. You go up and down dependent on how it is in our community and in our counties. Now some counties will have a little bit more flexibility, and he'll be working with them as well. And we'll have more guidelines on that on Tuesday. Now, you can continue watching Governor Newsom's whole live stream on our Facebook page and on our website, KGET.com.
This is 17 News with continuing coronavirus coverage.